think it's fact that we play the same course all the time, so there's an awful lot of stacked up history.
It's endlessly fascinating.
There's a certain mystique there that interesting things happen around that golf course, and I'm not sure why that is. You know, it's a bit of a mystery as well.
There it is. Now I'm thinking, every time I step foot on there, I'm like, okay, I got a shot at winning this.
It is the most dissected, viewed and talked about golf course of the modern era. Every April we turn our attention to a small corner of Georgia as the best players in the world try to solve its mysteries and challenges to earn one of the most coveted prizes in sports, the green jacket. Hello everyone, I'm Ian Baker Finch and welcome to our special presentation, The Keys to the Masters. This time every year we get to watch the latest generation of golfing greats pursue excellence and a place in history on the fairways and greens of the Augusta National Golf Club. On the surface, it's easy to get distracted by its beauty. The dogwoods and azaleas framed so perfectly by those magnificent Georgia pines. But beneath the surface, the creation of the great Bobby Jones, Dr. Alister MacKenzie, and Clifford Roberts represents a complete test of golf, both physically and mentally. Today, we're going to look at what it takes to win at Augusta, to join the legends of the game who have become Masters champions.
It's a fun golf course to play, and when the conditions are difficult, it's a really difficult course to play.
Because Augusta's like a mousetrap, waiting for the piece of cheese, and you take the wrong nibble and it's going to kill you.
And barely missed it. He appeared completely frustrated.
You know, and it is an intense golf course. It's all about its nerve and touch.
And so it's a golf course you need unbelievable course management.
And look at this shot. Look at it.
The first time you go there, you're not really sure what to expect.
Never experienced anything like that. And I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle the whole awe of it.
When I first went there in 1999, I took a local caddy whenever I could, just trying to hear from them, see the things that they've seen.
My caddy, Michael, in the week leading up to, and then even during the tournament week, would sit with Carl Jackson, the longtime caddy of Ben Crenshaw out there. And I actually made a joke. I was going to get Michael a T-shirt that said Carl Says and have a picture of Carl Jackson on it, because that's how many times he said Carl Says, or Carl said stay left right here to this pin. Carl said this is the best angle, or this putt goes towards Race Creek more than others. Over the course of the second, third, fourth year, everything about my practice changed. The idea was to find as many of the veterans that played the golf course a lot, see what they were practicing.
I played a few practice rounds with Tiger. Got to watch him and watch some of the clubs hits off tees, why he does certain things, where he's trying to miss it, where he's not trying to miss it, certain pin locations.
Wednesday evening before the tournament started, I was at the dinner at Augusta and spoke with Mr. Nicholas. He gave me some pointers on certain holes where you just can't leave it. There were certain specifics that he told me right before, and obviously the greatest Masters champion of all time certainly took that advice, went back and wrote it down.
And I remember talking to other players. They'd say, tell us, what do you do? What's your approach? I just told them the enthusiasm, the atmosphere at Augusta was so tremendous that it inspired me to do what I did.
Preparation for the Masters begins long before players arrive at Augusta National. Routines are formed and strategies crafted because players know when they arrive on the grounds, execution needs to be at the highest level.
Putting is something that I will practice a little bit more a couple of weeks before the Masters. Over the last couple of years, I played the golf course well enough, but I always made a few too many putts, unfortunately.
There's not many flat lies at Augusta. On TV, it doesn't do it justice with the slope from the first tee all the way down to 12.
It's like every hole is a slope, in the fairway, so you're always balls above or below your feet, uphill, downhill. So it's always about imagination and how do you get a ball to go the direction you want it to.
Every hole brings unique challenges, and they're certainly difficult challenges, but they're fun challenges. There's something about it that we all have a great time with and look forward to playing.
We've seen some of the best players in the world come to Augusta in hopes of leaving with the green jacket. We know they possess the skills and knowledge, yet most come up short.
Got it. Oh! Kisses the right edge and just stays out.
Augusta National requires a unique mental fortitude. And over the course of 72 holes, managing expectations might just be the intangible ingredient which leads to Butler Cabin.
The year that I finally won the Masters, the only decision that I made differently when I played the golf course was standing on the 15th tee, accepting par as an okay score in that hole. I would force trying to make a 4, and oftentimes I'd make 6s and 7s on that hole. In 04, I went in with the game plan that it's okay to make par there, and in fact, I parred at the last round.
Smooth.
Birdied 5 of the last 7, and one of those 2 holes that I didn't birdie was 15.
I prepared very, very differently. I woke up and I did things a lot slower. I dressed slower, I spoke slower, I drove out to the course slower. My first few practice swings on the tee was slower. I was brainwashing myself. I was working on my mind all the time.
2014, going into the tournament, I didn't really have many expectations. I knew the golf course by that time. I at least knew, where I wanted to hit it, how I wanted to play it.
Sit down, sit out, sit.
But I knew it was going to throw some pressure at me and different pins and different scenarios that I had to think through. So I just was kind of ready for anything.
The game plan is huge, but attitude is just as big. It's easy to get down on yourself there.
It's such a razor fine line between a great shot and one that gets rejected and runs off the green, maybe goes in the water.
It is often said that the Masters doesn't really begin until the second 9 on Sunday. There's no question that over the course of its history, some of the game's most memorable moments have happened there. But the players all know that what happens on the opening 9 of Augusta National is just as crucial.
The first hole is arguably, in my opinion, the hardest opening hole in major championships.
The first tee shot at Augusta National is always a difficult shot.
It's an exciting moment. It's the excitement of what could happen.
What makes it difficult is the first shot to the tournament or your first shot starting your round, and you got thousands of people lining the fairway.
You're nervous on that first tee, and right out of the chute, you've got tremendous demands.
After the reachable par 5 second hole and the short par 4 third, blood pressure rises. It's a stretch of 4 holes of which players agree includes 3 of the most difficult on the course. Outside of the 11th, if you offered up pars on holes 4, 5 and 7 for the week, they would gladly accept.
Kidding me.
Just 4 is a brutal par 3. It's really long from the back tips.
When we're back, it's 245 yards into just a wicked green.
I mean, you just got to hit the green. But you don't want to go long with how quick the greens are.
It's tough work getting it up and down, especially from over the back, which is a common place to be with firm greens and a long iron coming in.
I remember last year I played with Adam Scott, and I made bogey, he made double, and I watched him hit his 3 putts. I'm sitting there with my 5-footer for par. I'm like, how do I make this putt? I just watched him hit it on the same line, and it still missed.
It's not the hardest pitching from short of the green. The last couple of years, in all seriousness, considering laying up.
And then 5, the tee shot's not as intimidating. The second shot is. Leaving yourself too far to the short and right, and going long left is tough as well.
The green's extremely difficult, probably the most difficult green on the golf course.
and there's just really no room to hit it. You end up having a tough 2-putt or a tough up and down there. It seems like a lot.
The 7th hole, it's just a straightaway par 4. It's been lengthened over the years. It used to just kind of be a flip wedge. You have to hit a good tee shot and a good iron. And the green is very shallow.
It's extremely difficult up and down. You know, you're either hitting from a bunker, 6 feet below the surface of the green in the front, or if you hit it over the green, you're hitting down a green that's the slickest green on the golf course.
It's also very steep, depending on where the pin is. So get one kind of wrong bounce, a yard or two too far, you're staring double in the face. But at the same time, it's an important hole. I've seen some really good shots in there.
Amen Corner is a stretch of 3 holes which can dictate the player's strategy as they head home. It begins at the treacherous 11th, often considered the toughest hole on the course, where par can be a great score. The 12th is proof that a par 3 doesn't need to be long to be challenging. Quite possibly, the most intimidating tee shot in all of golf. Amen Corner technically wraps up with the tee shot on 13. The 13th is one of 4 par 5s, which many figure as the key to winning at Augusta. How players score on these par 5s during the week will often determine who will wear the green jacket.
You set your sights on winning. You have to tell yourself, okay, I got 4 par 5s, I have 16 chances, I have to try to score on those holes.
As Hogan said around that place, and you have a good chance for a 4, but if you go for it and mess up a little bit, 6 really hurts on those holes. You don't want to give 2 shots away.
They're gettable. They can mess with you. 6 is just as easy to make as a 4 if you're not careful.
Last year, Bubba Watson played the par 5s in 8 under. Rory McIlroy played him in level par. Guess what? That's 8-shot swing. Bubba was 8 shots better than Rory at the end of the week.
If I hit my driver well, par 5s really set up good for me. I can reach them all. A lot of the holes go from right to left, which is great for me.
Bubba just killed the par 5s here. He hit 7-iron into most of them. He even hit wedge into 1 last year.
For those players without Bubba Watson's length, and that is almost everyone, a different strategy will be needed to tackle the par 5s. But many have proven in the past the distance off the tee is not the only way to take advantage of these holes.
Zach Johnson made 11 birdies on the par 5s. He laid up on every one. He picked them apart. He did it his way.
Everybody's got different strategies, and if you're a good wedge player, because there's a lot of numbers you can make going for it, so there is that risk reward.
There's a lot that can happen with 13 and 15, but there's also some catastrophes on both holes. You see a lot of 3s, you see a lot of 7s. Scores are really moving around on the leaderboard, and I think that's what makes it so exciting.
All the preparation, knowledge, imagination and shot shaping will certainly increase players' chances. But what makes the Masters so compelling to watch are the greens. Augusta National Golf Club can't be defined by the greens alone, but those who figure them out for just 4 days in April will most likely continue to shape the history of Augusta.
It's a beautiful golf course from the tee, but the greens is where it gets tough, where it gets very difficult. You're going to hit some shots that are pretty good, but then they're going to catch a slope and run way away.
I spun the ball backwards 60 feet,
And it might be a 15-foot break or 20-foot break to lag putt, and you're going to have to make your 5-footers and your 3-footers all day long. It's all about 2-putting, and I'm really good at 2-putting. I feel comfortable that I can make pars, and a major championship, it's all about making pars, throwing a couple birdies here and there.
And the thing I learned about Augusta, about putting the greens, was not so much the putting,
but it's where you putted from. If you put the ball in the middle of the green, you're going to have a pretty good birdie putt. But always put myself in a position to where I was inside the hole.
Jack hit that shot just about where he aimed it. The left side is the safe side of this green.
If you got outside the hole and short-sided yourself at Augusta, that's a very difficult golf course to play short-siding yourself.
The final finishing off at Augusta is nerve and touch. It's all about nerve, your second shot, where can you hit it? And it's all about the touch, downhill putting, because, you know, with those hole locations, it's not like, yeah, I'll try and hit it below the hole, because, you know, if it comes off the green, you won't get up and down.
You got it.
Over the years, moments that happen at the Masters become part of the tapestry that defines a player's career. That's certainly the case for a man who has earned one name recognition from golf fans everywhere. Bubba Watson is now 36 years old and has secured his place in Masters legend by winning the green jacket 2 of the last 3 years. For Bubba, the Masters has represented the perfect intersection of game, course, and history.
His game fits it perfectly. He hits a power cut that goes forever, and the golf course plays for a right to left shot that goes really far.
He can overpower that golf course, and especially the way he hits it with his big cuts, it's tailor-made for him.
You know, he hits this unbelievable cut shot that goes 330, 340 yards.
I remember thinking, whoa, what was that? What was that? Really?
And you're not supposed to do that when you hit a cut.
He ends up standing on his own tee peg. You know, his feet move so much.
Into greens that are rock hard, and he's, you know, coming in from the sky. He's got a perfect game for that place.
But hits the ball in the center of the club face as often as anyone.
And he puts well. And those greens he has in the years past. And I don't see that changing.
When all the keys to the Masters come together, one thing is for sure, you will hear it. Patron roars of respect echo through the pines and ring in the ears of the players for years to come.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, wow!
You know the different roars between maybe a hole-in-one or an eagle, or
You can kind of figure out which player it is, and you can figure out if it was a birdie or an eagle.
You know, you start attaching yourself to the crowd.
Part of what hurt me on the weekend was that I heard the roars, I was listening and wondering where they were coming from and who it was and what they were doing. And that's letting my mind go astray.
It had to be 2011 when Tiger finished T4. I remember he parred 9. And it sounded like he birdied it. Everyone's going berserk, and I'm sitting there going, oh man, he's just lighting the course up, man. He may, you know, hunt us down and win this thing.
But you then have to pull yourself back into focus and get back at the job at hand.
I remember in 2005, I was in the second last group on Sunday. I made a hole-in-one on 16. I mean, by far the biggest cheer that I've had, you know, for one of the shots that I've hit.
On 7 on Sunday, I had a really, really tough putt for birdie. I had almost hit it straight sideways and just let it trickle down the hill. It's about 15 feet. You could kind of hear the crowd being like, whoa, where's he going with that? That roar was unbelievable.
Yeah, on the third, as it pitched and it spun, I looked at the crowd because you could see the people sort of slowly came alive, and then all of a sudden they started standing up, and then you could see this getting really close, and all of a sudden everyone's arms in the air, and it's amazing.
Well, the roars at Augusta National are pretty much like no other place. And a lot of that has to do with the dynamics of the land.
Well, they echo.
Yeah, it sort of feels like it cuts through you.
You can hear it echo through the trees and through the course, and it feels kind of like an earthquake. It just starts rumbling. And
those roars are unreal because it comes right up the hillside, and everybody knows something special has just happened.
When the Masters concludes on Sunday, one player will have done more than just survive the timeless but always evolving test of Augusta National. For the player slipping on that green jacket, the moment will represent a culmination of hard work, dedication, and golfing excellence. He will have stared into the soul of the game and earned a place amongst its legends. I'm Ian Baker Finch.